in 1918 won the vote for women over the age of 30. Then there was Lady Gertrude Denman, after whom the WI Adult Education Centre is named. She was the first chairwoman and stayed there for 40 years.
While the fashion's coming on, we've got a slideshow running of showing you various things of fashion and also iconic events that happened within that decade, and also events that happened within the WI within that decade. So try and keep an eye on both things as they're flipping backwards and forwards. Try to multitask, I'm sure you can manage. So the 20s. The 20s are remembered for their flatter style, corsets have gone, in came Art Deco style, flowing robes and headwear, as you will see shortly. The decade was named the Roaring Twenties. I don't remember the Bloomsbury set was very much the thing. Ankles began to show. Coordinated accessories were a feature of the 20s. You can't see the vibrancy of these accessories because obviously the photos are always in black and white then. Hemlines rose for most of the decade, but then they dropped slightly back towards 1930 at the end of this fashion period. We now have our first model, who is Barbara, and she will be very self-explanatory. As you can see, Barbara is a suffragette.
Votes for women, ladies. Early your vote
Obviously well covered up, ready to be changed to railings, going to race courses. Without the suffragettes of the 1950s and 20 era, we would not be where we are today. So I think we should give her a round of applause.
Make your votes count, as important today as it was then.
This is not a party political broadcast, you understand? We haven't got any colours on. Our next model is Diane. Diane epitomises the 20s in a flapper outfit. Very well coordinated, beautifully presented, and I believe it actually belongs to Diane. So she must go to some smart parties. I hope that was a real cigarette. It's beautifully put together, very, very nice materials, very glittery, evocative of the era. Our next model is Tracy. As you can see, Tracy epitomises what was the sort of Bloomsbury set of the 20s, the art set, painting set, with a very fashionable long coat, very beautifully embroidered, and with what a beautiful turban. A very pretty beaded handbag make up the ensemble. Imagine trying to embroider all that. Nancy's wearing a brown flapper dress with accessories including a beautiful shawl, the obligatory feather in her hair, and again yet another cigarette.
Go for it, Nancy.
Ready for this party going? Notice the beads. Surprised they don't weigh her down. We've now got a little skit, shall we say, for you. So I hope Lucy is ready to come on.
Matilda by Hilaire Belloc. Matilda told such dreadful lies, it made one gasp and stretch one's eyes. Her aunt, who from her earliest youth had kept a strict regard for truth, attempted to believe Matilda. The effort very nearly killed her, and would have done so had not she discovered this infirmity. For once, towards the close of day, Matilda, growing tired of play, and finding she was left alone, went tiptoe to the telephone, and summoned the immediate aid of London's noble fire brigade. Within an hour, the gallant band were pouring in on every hand, from Putney, Hackney, Downs and Bow. With courage high and hearts aglow, they galloped roaring through the town. Matilda's house is burning down! Inspired by British cheers and loud, proceeding from the frenzied crowd, they ran their ladders through a score of windows on the ballroom floor, and took peculiar pains to souse the pictures up and down the house, until at last her aunt succeeded in showing them they were not needed. And even then she had to pay to get the men to go away. It happened that a few weeks later, her aunt was off to the theatre to see that interesting play, The Second Mrs. Tanqueray. She had refused to take her niece to see this entertaining piece, a deprivation just and wise to punish her for telling lies. That night a fire did break out. You should have heard Matilda shout. You should have heard her scream and bawl and throw the windows up and call to people passing in the street, the rapidly increasing heat encouraging her to obtain their confidence, but all in vain. For every time she shouted, "Fire!" they only answered, "Little liar." And therefore, when her aunt returned, Matilda and the house were burned. Matilda's aunt was very, very sorry and very sad, and she missed Matilda and was very lonely without her, and she sang this little song. Healed by